I combined two amazing plants from Plants vs. Zombies 2. What would their looks and abilities be? In this video, I'll be combining plants in PVZ2, showing you how I draw them and revealing their awesome abilities. I'll also honestly rate each one from 1 to 10. Before we begin, 94.8% of my viewers aren't subscribed yet, so please consider clicking that subscribe button. It would really help me a lot. First up is a combination of Bong Choy and Shroom. As you can see, both of these plants have a unique color because Bong Choy is a vibrant green while Shroom is more on the darker side of color. I use Bong Choy as the main body of this fusion. Then, I cut out the eyes of Shroom for the face and adjusted it so it would fit well in the body of Bong Choy. I also cut out the mouth of Shroom, just like I did in the eyes. I also adjusted so it would fit well. Since I changed some of the parts, I now started to carefully outline the plants and include the changes I did earlier. Then, I adjust the placement of the outline I did in the face. Moving on, I use Shroom as my reference for the color. I use the gray as my base for the whole plant and add a darker color in the top part on its head, since Shroom also has a darker color in its head. And for his face, I filled his eyes with a red color, similar to Shroom. Then, I also colored his teeth into a white color, and then I also add some shadow for the hands of Bong Choy. By the way, I am using Bong Choy here as a guide on where I will put the shadow or darker colors for our fusion. I gradient the darker color I add so it would blend in his body color, and then I started to give his leafy head a shadow around it, to emphasize the texture of it. For his highlight, I added a light color to his face. To imitate the Shroom, I added the stripes part of it on the lower body and around his face. Then I reduced the opacity of it. I draw the reflective lights using a white color for his stripes and also his eyebrows. I draw the shadow around his eyes, and we can't forget his mouth. I added a peach color for his eyes and also added some shadow. Back to his red eyes, I decide to add a light color and gradient it to make it look like the eyes of Shroom. And then, I added a highlight on top of his head and hands. And there you have it, our first plant, Choy. Let's now talk about its plant stats. Just like the normal Bong Choy, this one is a close range attack. It rapidly punches nearby zombies. It deals a 60 damage with a toughness of 300. Then, the recharge time of this one is 8 seconds and requires a 250 sun. Now its ability, since it inherits the attack type of Bong Choy, this one uses fast punches with both fists to attack zombies in front and behind. When defeated, it explodes just like Shroom. This explosion deals a huge damage in a 3x3 area. However, it leaves a scorched tile that you can't plant on for 10 seconds. When given plant food, it punches a 360 degree very fast for a few seconds, then explodes in a much larger area, specifically 5x5 area. Overall, I rate it 9 out of 10. I like how good the colors in his looks are. It really matches Shroom's color palette. However, I think there's something missing in his body to make it look more unique. For his ability, I love how he explodes when defeated. Since his ability like Bong Choy can handle one zombie at a time, there's a possibility that it gathers zombie, and these zombie can take damage because of its explosion when being eaten. Next plant is a combination of melon pult and lightning reed. To start off, of course I use melon pult and lightning reed, then constructed my idea on how these two plants would look like. I decide to outline the body and bowl of melon pult. I will be using these as the main body of the plant. Then, I decided to add the lightning body of the lighting rod to connect the melon body and bowl. After that, I also outlined the face of melon pult and adjust it. I started to color the lines of melon pult into a light green, just like the light green in a lightning reed. I also add a white color for the other parts of his line. After that, I outlined the lightning design for the plant to connect to its body. Then, I used a green for the leaves below him. I also changed the front leaf into a lighter color, then gave it some shadow and rendered it so it would become gradient. Then, I added a darker color between the leaves to emphasize its texture, and add some highlights for the tip. I also draw reflective lights on it. Moving on to his face, I first changed the color of his eyes and eyebrows, then carefully outlined the eyebrows. And then I changed the color of its outline. I also changed the green stripes into a lighter color to match the green glow of the lightning reed. To give it some dimensions, of course we have to add the shadow in his body. I also add that in his bowl. Then, draw the reflective light to make it brighter. We can't also forget the reflective light, so I add that around his melon body and also his bowl. I also add the shadow and highlights for his watermelon inside its bowl, and of course its reflective lights. Then for the bowl, I added a shadow inside it to give it some dimensions, then changed the top part of it into a light green to match the body color. Then, I changed the outline again into a lighter color, but only the specific part. I also draw the glowing effect for the watermelon inside the bowl. To finish the face, I add the pupils using white, and also draw some lightning around its body and his watermelon. Then, I adjust the color on his lightning that is connecting in its body, since it still has a gradient green color. And there you have it, our second plant, electric melon. Talking about its stats, this glowing melon costs 500 suns and has a fast recharge. Since it is a combination of melon pult, the attack type of it throws an electro melon that hits a group of zombies with the damage of 80 and 300 toughness. Next is its ability. As mentioned earlier, it throws an electric melon. These electric melons deal splash damage and send lightning to nearby zombies. It also zaps nearby zombies with electricity. Every third hit stuns zombies for 1 second. When given plant food, it throws a giant electric melon and zaps that damages all zombies in the lane. Overall, I rate it a 9 out of 10. For his looks, I love the concept of the plant. The combination of melon pult and lightning rod can really identify in this plant. I also like how the lightning part focuses on the watermelon in his bowl. For his ability, I like how it looks like an improved version of the attack of melon pult, since it has a lightning effect. Next up, a combination of Primal P and a grape shot. I start off by brainstorming on how these plants would look like. I used Primal P as the main body, then I changed his face. I used grape shot for its eyes. I changed his head leaf using the leaves part of the grape shot. Then, I used the stem of a grape shot and put it on top of him. I started to outline the body of the Primal P, since this will serve as the main body. Then, I also carefully outlined the eyes of the grape shot, so I can include this in its face. I started to color his head using a pink base. Then draw some small grapes for his accessories in the body. I decide to color the body part using a darker pink, and the same pink for the grape's accessories. Then, I decide to change the leaf part on top of his head into a stem. I outlined it and used brown as the base. Here, I change the body color using Primal P. For the head, I draw the shadow inside its mouth and also in its face. We can't forget the shadow in his grapes, so I add that. And I start to add the reflective light around his head. I draw the highlight for his head using a light color. Then, I copied some of the parts of Primal P, so I can add that for our plant. This can also serve as our guide for shadow and highlights. Then, changed the color of it to match our plant color. For the eyes, I copied the color of the eyes of purple shot, so I can get it right. After that, I adjust some of the shadow for his body. For the stem, I copied the stem color of grape shot and adjust it to fit the outline of the stem. Back to his body, I adjust the highlights in his leaves to make it look brighter. Then, I draw the shadow in his eyes, and of course the pupil of it. I almost forgot the whole of Primal P, so I add that and change the other color into pink to match the body. I change the outline into a different color and decide to change the body part into a purple to match the head. Then, I draw the highlights in the leaves and the body since I changed it into a different color. I finish it off by adding the leaves on his head, then make it smaller so it wouldn't look awkward. And there you have it, Primal Grapeshooter. For Primal Grapeshooter's plant stats, This one is a long-range attacker that knocks back and damages the area with a recharge time of 5 seconds. His damage is around 60 with a toughness of 300, but it costs 250 suns. Then for his ability, it shoots grape bombs that break into 3 smaller bombs. Each grape explodes and hits nearby zombies. Other than that, it has the chance to knock back zombies like a Primal Grapeshooter. When given plant food, it fires lots of grape bombs across the lanes. Each bomb explodes and knocks zombies back. Overall, I rate it 8 out of 10. His looks really resembles grape shot because of its color. I also love how his head has a stem and leaves. But I think that the green body is better because it really looks like a grape. Due to the roundness of its head, it looks like a single grape. For its ability, I feel like this plant is powerful since it has a lot of advantages and benefits because of the grape-like peas, since it explodes and knock back zombies. The next plant is a combination of 2 cannon types of plants, cob cannon and coconut cannon. When combining my ideas here, it is obvious that I will be using a cannon as the body. Then I decide to use cob cannon for the lower body of the plant. Then, I use the mouth of cob cannon for the accessories of our plant. He looks like being eaten by something green. Anyways, adjust the other parts of the coconut cannon to fit. Then, I'm actually thinking if I would use coconut cannon for the face. I decide to remove that and fill the inside part using small coconut. For the face, I decide to use the green shell as the body of the plant and add the eyes of a coconut cannon. I add the tires that I will be using and also add the same for the other side. These tires already have a color, so I wouldn't adjust the color much. I started to carefully outline the ideas I did so that I can actually connect that in his body. After that, I used the coconut that was already colored, then adjusted it so it wouldn't overlap. I started to color the body using a green base. I also draw some shadow and render it. After that, I also add a highlight in top of his head to balance out the shadow, and of course I add the reflective lights around its body. To add the corn leaves texture, I draw lines along the body. For the inside of its mouth, I also add some shadow in the coconut, then darken the area to add depth inside the mouth. Next, I started to color his eyes and eyebrows, then of course the shadow, and the reflective lights below the eyes. To finish it off, I changed the outline into a different color, so it would match the body color. And there you have it, coconut launcher for its plant stats. It has a 500 sun cost with the recharge time of 8 seconds. The toughness of this one is 300 with the massive damage of 500. Let's talk about its ability. The attack type of this one is tap to launch a powerful coconut barrage. After tapping, it launches 5 coconuts at once in different directions. 1 straight, 2 diagonals, and 2 in a curve. Each coconut deals massive single target damage. While reloading, it stays inactive and vulnerable. When given plant food, it instantly reloads and can launch many coconuts, damaging all the zombies at the lawn, instead of launching only in one direction. Overall, I rated 10 out of 10. I like how it adapts the look of cob cannon and still has the coconut concept. He also looks like a monster eating a lot of coconut. For his ability, I like how the coconut inside its mouth has a purpose, that one of them have a different area when being launched, covering a wide area. Our last plant is a combination of Guacile and Chomper. When combining this one, both of them clearly have unique features. Guacile is facing his body down, while Chomper is standing up. Here, I decide to use Chomper for the main body and changing its head into Guacile. Since Chomper has its mouth open, of course we also need Guacile to have its mouth open. Then, I sketch the spikes of Chomper in the head, then proceed to sketch the entire head and the body. Since I am done with the changes of the physical body, I carefully outline the whole plant. Then, I use Guacile for my color reference and started to color its body using a green base. After that, I draw the shadow, then render it so it blends well. Then, I changed the stem of its body into a darker green. I also changed the leaves below him and in his head. Then, I changed the spike color into a yellow-green. For the face, I change the color of his eyes into a vibrant yellow, then add a shadow inside his mouth. I notice that the leaves below him looks a bit off, so I adjust the size to match the other side. I started to draw the shadow in its mouth, and the highlights on top of his nose. I used a much lighter green for the highlights. I also add those same highlights in a pattern form along his face, since Guacile have that in his face. After that, I started to draw the reflective lights around its mouth, then in the head, and also the eyes. I started to add the shadow for the leaves, to emphasize its shape. Then, I also add the same shadow for the body, and decide to render it so it would blend well. I draw a shadow of the plants below to emphasize the texture of it. Back to the face, we can't leave the tongue looking green, so I changed it into a violet and also add some shadow. After that, I highlighted its stem body and its face to make it brighter and shiny. For the spikes, I added reflective lights around it to make it look sharper. To finish of the leaves, I also add the same reflective lights. For the stem, I draw the highlights in it and also for the leaves below to make it look realistic. Then, I change the outline of the plant that matches the color of its body. And there you have it, our last plant, Guacile Chomper. Let's now talk about its plant stats. Just like a chomper, the range of this plant is close range, with the damage of instant kill, and still have the toughness of 300. The recharge time of it is 10 seconds, with 175 sun cost. For the ability, it eats the zombie in front of him. After chewing, he spits out small Guacile projectiles that damages all zombies in his lane. If there are no close zombies, it spits guac blobs like Guacile. When given plant food, it spits a row of guacamole shots across the lane, then chomps multiple zombies in a wide area in front. Overall, I rate it 10 out of 10. I really like the looks of Guacile Chomper. He looks so cute because of his adorable mouth being wide open. He looks like a baby chubby crocodile. For his ability, you really shouldn't be deceived by its adorable look, because he might chew you when you get close. He inherits the ability of Chomper, which is an advantage when zombies are nearby, while he can still damage zombies after spitting a small Guacile projectiles. That's all for today's video. Thanks for watching, Saya.